Attention, ladies and gentlemen. The citizens of Palatine soon will be voting on an important library referendum. Mr. Hal Snyder and Ms. Melissa Gardner are here to explain the details of the referendum. We'll first hear from Mr. Snyder.
Good morning. I'm a member of the Board of Trustees of the Palatine Public Library District, and with me is Melissa Gardner, who is Assistant Director of the library, and we're going to talk about the referendum. So that what we're going to do is go through a short presentation. The first slide shows that our patrons love the library, and I'll talk through a couple of numbers here. First of all, we have 3,624 items checked out per day. I think my favorite stat is that 72% of residents have a library card. We had 8,410 room bookings last year. That's the large and small study rooms, not just the meetings rooms here, but we have study rooms upstairs. And boy, are they busy around exam time for our high school and grade school students. And a total of over 500,000 visits per year to the library. But we're here to talk to you today about the referendum, and that's because the library board has voted to ask taxpayers to approve an operating rate increase equal to about $52 per year for a median home in our community. And what I'm going to do is show a slide now from the fact sheet. These are available outside with more detail on what's going on with the referendum. But this particular graphic shows that in the white line what you're likely to pay this year in real estate taxes, and the median home, you see the column with the yellow circle in it, with a market value of $266,000. The library share of property taxes is $193. If the referendum passes, the expected increase would be another $52 for the year, or $1 a week. Some people have heard us say it's about a Big Mac a month. So now we're going to get into the language of what you're going to see on the ballot. This is technical, it's set by law. Nobody's trying to confuse anybody deliberately. This is what we have to say. And so it says, shall the limiting rate under the property tax extension limitation, and so on. Now this is just to get you acquainted with what it's going to say, and sometimes it's a little bit convoluted in what it means. The yes means that the referendum passes and the tax increase is approved by the voters. So, and then I think there's another slide as well, because this is also required by law of what the ballot language is. I think now I'm going to turn it over to Melissa for the details of the rationale behind this.
Okay, so the library, to get to this point, did a number of studies. First of all, we did a capital reserve study. This is something that the board does every 5 or so years. So we have one on file before, but then we did a new one. What we see in that capital reserve study is just to maintain this facility that you are in today, the library needs $5.8 million over the next 6 years. We then, knowing that amount, hired a financial planner, a third party, to help us go through what that would look like and how could we pay for that $5.8 million. If you see the graph with the red and blue, and hopefully you can kind of see the differences there. The blue amount is if we pass an operating referendum, that will show you what our cash balance will look like. If a referendum does not pass, the red lines are what our cash balance will look like. And so you can see that we will have a deficit in 2023. The library is 95% funded by local taxpayer dollars. We do not receive large amounts of money from the state, and our only other sources of revenue are pretty small. So you see like fines and fees is the next one, and that's 2.44% of our revenue. So people return their books on time, we're not getting a lot of money there. In addition to that, the library is a small portion of your property tax bill. In Palatine, Our library taxes are about 2.68% of your property tax bill. We compared ourselves to neighboring libraries. If you look at this, you can see that we're well below our neighboring libraries of Rolling Meadows or Arlington Heights. We collect about, per person, $74.87. If we pass a referendum, we will still be below our libraries. We'd like to be efficient with our money, and so we would still be below, but we would have the money that we need to do and maintain our services. In addition, we looked at our employee efficiency. Were there cuts that we could make there? And by looking at our comparisons there, you can see that we are well below our neighbors in that as well, with 1.2 employees per 1,000 residents as compared to the Rolling Meadows, which is 2.2, or Arlington Heights, which is 3.2. How will the money be used? So we talked about the $5.8 million in major maintenance. Over the next 6 years, that's the majority of where the money will go. We also will have service improvements. The community has requested things like longer hours on weekends or Friday night. And then we have some interior renovations that we would do alongside those major improvements, creating efficiencies in having the construction done at the same time. So again, if yes, new technology, more spaces in study rooms, service hours, more collections, and more partnerships with our community. The renovations that we're talking about, we did a preliminary study to get an idea of what the cost would be. This is not a final drawing. It would be, we would bring this back to the community and receive more feedback if the referendum passes. But our hope is to open up the space, give more access to the youth area and collections on the first floor of this facility. We'd also have the cafe brought downstairs and some of the digital media stuff brought upstairs. We would add study rooms. You can kind of see in that little line there, rainbow colored rooms. It's an additional, I think, 7 study rooms to the building that we would do, so that when those District 211 students are here studying, they would all have space to do so. We'd also have a dedicated teen area. We would bring efficiencies to the second floor by combining our technology desks into one, as well as our reference desk. The library has 2 branches. We would do renovations to those branches as well, mostly to ensure that they had updated furniture and furnishings. This is the Rand Road branch. For those of you who know about Rand Road, it's in the Community Resource Center, formerly POC. We also have a branch at the Willow Recreation Center in Hoffman Estates. This branch would receive a little bit more renovations than the Rand Road branch. Currently, the branch has 2 walls that kind of close up the space. We would eliminate those walls and make it more open and a larger space for programming and accessibility of our collections. If the referendum does not pass, we will still need to pay for the $5.8 million that we need in capital repairs for this facility. That means that we would look at reducing hours or days of service, shrinking our budget for our collections, which would have longer hold times, eliminating our state-of-the-art turnaround on technology and equipment, and decreasing our ability to go out into the community with our partnerships. I think most of you who are here today are civically engaged enough to know when you're voting. So that's out there. And then if you want to fill out a pledge card that says I am voting, you can feel free to do that and we will mail it to you. For those of you, this is the short version of our presentation, the 5-minute version. We have an hour-long presentation that includes our executive director and our architect, as well as our financial planners. The last one of those is on March 25th. In addition, all of these documents, everything that we have out there is on our website at palatinelibrary.org/more. And you can feel free to ask us questions. We're here for you. Are you guys going to do questions like you did?
No, not for this.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I'm sure if you have questions for our presenters here, they will be happy to answer them. We are going to start setting up for our second forum with District 15.